So the total amount spent was $317,000. She communicated with me and I communicated with her every single day. 75% of the money was spent on stickers and photos. What I wasn't aware of was how sophisticated this new type of scam was. I wouldn't say it was she, it was how they managed to hook me in. They learn about you, understand who you are, and they become the perfect woman for you. Because I thought I was a smart guy, you know, I'd read all the things about what to look for and never used Western Union and things like that, and none of that was even an issue.
Hello, my name is Dmitry Bereznyakov. I'm the founder of two big projects. The first one is called Untitled.org. This is one of the biggest multi-language dating scams protection website. The second project is Ukreine.com dating site that is 100% honest, and I can guarantee you it in person. You can even watch my video on the lie detector if it's interesting for you. But today's goal is different. We want to prevent you from dating scams, and this video will really shock you. Do not think that this scam will never happen to you. It can happen to anyone, because when you are in love, you are capable to do, well, the craziest things, and the goal of a scammer is to make you feel that you are in love. So never say never. Watch this video.
Well, the story started when I joined a website. It was an online dating website for international dating. And I logged in, chatted for a few days with different ladies until I was contacted by a young lady. Her name was Ukreinian.comEN. She's a Russian model that's really popular on the internet, got like 1 million followers. And she contacted me on May 5th of 2018. And we started talking from there. Conversation started to progress. We spent more and more time together. And the relationship started going really well. We spoke for the remainder of 2018, actually, the entire time. Each day we started speaking longer and longer till it got to the point we were speaking 10 to 12 hours a day, sometimes even 15 hours a day. And this was every day, 7 days a week. I wasn't even working much, I wasn't sleeping much, I was just spending all my time with her. As you can see, this is Ekaterina, very beautiful. She's a 29-year-old Russian, listed as an exotic model. She does lingerie and things like that. Her full name is Ukreinian.comEN. All I know is she lives in St. Petersburg, Russia. Well, how she managed, I guess you got to put an asterisk by that. I wouldn't say it was she. It was how they managed to hook me in. Was they became what I would call the perfect woman, which was probably a good lookout for anyone else. The perfect woman doesn't exist. And so everything about myself that I like, anything that I liked, anything I desired was exactly what was given to me. You know, everything I said was repeated back. Call me Lord, call me husband, say I love you every day. All the right things were said. Would even say they don't care about money. Would always say they don't care about the money. Say, you know, I'll live with you in poverty. I want you to come rescue me, take me to the United States. So they learn about you, understand who you are, and there's a lot of that within the first couple of weeks. And then after they learn that, that's when they're really good at it, and they hook you at that point, and they become the perfect woman for you. Oh, I would say that I felt I was in love with her about 4 months into it. Everything was going extremely well, even though there were some things that I was a little bit cautious about, because I thought I was a smart guy. You know, I'd read all the things about what to look for and never used Western Union and things like that, and none of that was even an issue. So I would say about 4 months into it. every day. From the moment she first wrote to me on May 5th, she communicated with me and I communicate with her every single day. No less, I mean, the first couple of weeks it was maybe an hour or two a day, but after the first month, never less than 10 hours a day, every day. I went through my bank statements and of all 3 credit cards I have. So the total amount spent was $317,000 and some few odds. So 317,403, $317,000 and $317,403. And see, that's the key to it. I was always looking out for making sure you don't send anyone any money. But what I wasn't aware of was how sophisticated this new type of scam was. What happened this time was they used the actual site. So you're using your credit card. So you log into the site, you put your credit card information on there, and then it auto replenishes. It won't take out a lot at a time. The most you can buy is 750 credits, which is 150 bucks. That's the most that's gonna happen at once. And as you chats are allowed 2 credits a minute, and basically that's not even $1 per minute. But what really happens is all the little extras. Any gift you buy is like 2 to 3 times the normal price because they'll say it's duty and taxes and delivery. So like a $600 iPhone is gonna cost you a little over $2,000. Then you have where I spent most of the money. About 75% of the money was spent on stickers and photos. So, they have these little emojis. They call them stickers. They're basically just emojis that you can purchase on the site. And like a kiss emoji or a bottle of like an elixir with love in it, or all these little emojis in there, like let's say thank you or I love you or anything like that. Those are all $1 each. To send a photo is going to be $2. And to write a letter on the website, just leave a letter for the young lady, is going to cost you $5. So all these things start to add up. And what was happening was, as you're on the site, I didn't realize at the time, but they were taking shifts. So there would be one lady talk to you for like 4 to 6 hours. Then she would say she has to go to the bathroom. Then another lady would come on. So you're talking to 2 to 3 different ladies a day. And as they're on there, you don't realize you're not even talking about them. You don't know anything about them. They're telling you to give them a kiss. So you send them a kiss sticker. Oh, tell me how much you love me. You send them an I love you sticker. Send me your photo. Send me 10 photos. Send me 50 photos. I want to see all your photos of your house. Can you show me photos of your city? Go to the beach and take photos of everything at the beach. By the end of the day, you've sent 400 photos. Then, of course, she'll start sending you photos, which is, of course, is $2 for each photo that it sent you. It started off with mostly photos, and I ended up spending, like, in the month of July, I spent a little over $20,000 on this website just with chat, gifts, and sending photos. And it progressed after that because I wrote to the site a little suspicious when I got this huge credit card bill. And they stopped asking me for photos as much, and now I started getting asked for stickers. And it got to the point where from the point of July all the way up until February of this year, I was averaging a little less than $1,500 a day. And I was mostly just in stickers, asking for stickers, 100 to 200 at a time. And saying that I'm alone, I live here alone, I have no one, and this is the only affection you can give me because you're not here, so I want you to kiss me 100 times. And so that went on all day long for 10 to 15 hours, and next thing you know, you get a credit card bill for $30,000 for the next few months. Yes, as you can see on the screen, there's all these screenshots from chats I've had. These are emails as well, where she would basically chastise me for not replenishing my credits quickly enough, asking for hundreds of kisses or hundreds of photos at a time. And this was just ongoing. This was a daily, it was just the routine, and this happened all the time. I never have had a problem dating. I went to this website because a friend told me about all these beautiful girls that were there, and I'd come to Europe, so I thought, well, maybe I'll find someone online, then when I come to Europe, I'll have someone I can be dating here. And so I was single, so I tried it. And so when it first happened, I saw the beautiful young lady. I wasn't in a situation where I felt like, oh, this is unattainable, you know. So that never came to my mind that maybe this was just something that just couldn't happen. What I would caution everyone is, you think about that old saying that the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist. So you may think that it can't happen to you. You think that this is something that's, I'm just crazy and I'm an anomaly. It's not like that at all. These people are professionals, and they're very good at what they do. They've been doing it a long time, and they don't make many mistakes. Oh yes, friends and family. To this day, most of them won't even talk to me anymore. All of my friends tried to warn me. Accountant tried to warn me, brother, sister, and now to this day, none of them will talk to me because I shunned them all. I told them to stay away from me because I was protecting her. I even told her about these things, and she would say, all we need is each other. And so when they would try to warn me about it, I would always, rationalize. I wouldn't reason where when you're reasonable, you look at all the facts, then you come up with the explanation. I was rationalizing where I had the explanation I wanted, and I made the facts fit it. And so I wanted it to be real, and so I made sure that anything she said, I believed it. Of course, there were things that I was suspicious of, but I even wrote the website, told them about my suspicions, and they would calm me down with these simple explanations, and you would say, of course that's what it is, because why would she risk everything? She's a model. She's got a great career. You can go on Instagram and see all these things that she's doing. There's no way she would risk all that for a petty scam. And so in my mind, it made perfect sense that this was real. I had my suspicions as we went because there were many times where I would send her a gift and then she wouldn't say thank you or anything because you get a photo from the website of her holding up the gift. But when you're chatting to her on the website, she would have no idea that, what you were talking about. So I felt like there were different women there, but she'd always give an explanation. But what really came down to when I just finally realized that it couldn't be real was she always kept saying she was gonna come and be with me, but she would always change it. Then we would always schedule a time to meet, where I would come down here and meet her, or she would come and meet me, and she would change it. Then finally I told her, I said, we're not gonna change this time. She said, no, this is definite, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna be together, you're gonna come and meet me at this time. And for the second time, I bought tickets, made arrangements. And then 2 days before it was supposed to happen, she wrote me and said that her mother told her not to meet me because it needs to be one full year before we met. And that she had to listen to her mother, but what was strange, she's been married before. She's a grown woman, almost 30, and I didn't see, I said, your mother tells you not to meet me. I said, have you never been on a date before? Does your mom tell you not to go on a date before you have seen a man for a year? So that just didn't make sense. And it was right before I was supposed to come there. And I'd already bought her a ring twice because she had asked me to buy her an engagement ring, and I bought that, and then she told me she needed a second one because she lost it. And so after I bought her the second engagement ring and a second iPhone, that's when she told me, after she'd accumulated this massive amount of gifts, and within a week, she tells me, hey, my mom says you can't come. And that's when, I'd had enough. I realized then that something just wasn't right. Well, like I said, I had my suspicions, but they were confirmed after this incident. I actually hired a private detective. I went online and first I wanted to hire an American private detective. And one gentleman in America, he was quite honest with him. He said the best thing to do was hire someone who was in country. So I found a private detective here. He helped me find a private detective here who does this kind of work that could go through Russia and Ukraine. And I hired a private detective. And he, hired someone to do some cyber work where they took their phone number and email address and things like that where she was communicating with me. And at the time, she was in Bali doing the work. But the person who was communicating with me was speaking to me from Kiev. So it was very obvious, all my suspicions were confirmed that it was not her that I was speaking with all the time. And he said that there were times where she may be speaking to me, but based on all the evidence he put together, as you can see with this report, 90% of the time it was someone else speaking to me. It's still in process. One of the things I decided to do was you get angry, and I decided I was going to pursue it. So after I hired the detective, I hired a lawyer. I'm here in Kiev now. Reported this to the Ukrainian authorities. We'll be going to the Russian embassy, reporting it to the Russian authorities as well. We've got passport information. We've got everything that you could possibly get, and we've turned all this stuff over. We know the name of the agency. We know that how the scam works. We've got that pretty laid out in detail, and we're going to pursue this all the way. I know that no matter what the cost or expense or time, I'm not going to stop. It's not just about the money, it's just about the fact that it was done in the most egregious manner, in the most evil manner, and so I just want to make sure they're brought to justice and not get away with it, so they don't do it to anyone else. Sure. One of the things I would say is for anyone who's out there now who may be on an online dating site international, I hired a private detective and he did extensive detailed work. And it is a very, very small probability that whomever you're talking to is not involved in a scam. According to their statistics, less than 6% of women international want to be involved in an international relationship of any consequence anyway. However, it shows that over 95% of them are involved knowingly in some sort of deception. Coming here to Ukraine and seeing how it works and talking to some women who are involved, you understand that it's just part of life. Here, it's just what they do. And to them, is it illegal? Sure, but it's like cheating on your taxes to them. They just say everyone does it. So if you're on one of these sites, even if you've come and you've met, don't believe what you see on the site. Don't believe those parts where you see that there's success stories. I fell for all that. None of it's real. And you may not want to listen like I didn't. But before you spend $317,000, I would just learn from my example. Yes, the name of the site I was on was Valentine.com. I know it's also traditionally known as Prime.date. I contacted them for the first time. I contacted them in June about the photos that I was suspicious about those. And they wrote me back telling me everything was fine. They spoke to the agency, which I didn't understand what they meant by agency at the time, but I found out later. They said they also spoke to the young lady. They assured me to check that her profile was verified. And verified means they have a photocopy of her passport and that they've interviewed her and that they can verify that it is absolutely her. And that the reason why she was asking me for so many photos was because she was so crazy about me. And that was the explanation I received. My entire time with Ukreinian.comEN was on Valentine.com. So I was only on that website. Oh, absolutely. The first time I contacted them was in June. So you think about in the month of June, I'd only spent about $40,000. That's still a lot of money. I don't think most people spend that amount. The next time I contacted them, I was well over $150,000 in, and I was still spending, up to $2,000 a day. So I don't think they wanted that revenue to stop. And each time they said they were going to look into the situation. So as you can see from the email, that I wrote very extensive about my concerns. I was very detailed about them, and I sent them screenshots of our conversation. And I told them, I said, I really want to make sure this is real. I said, because I'm just getting suspicious. And each time it was met with, there's nothing to worry about, everything's fine. And of course, looking back on it, you can say, it seems pretty obvious. But when you're in the middle of it, that explanation made sense. And so I could have, if they had done a real investigation, if they really cared, it would have stopped in June of last year. But instead, here we are, $317,000 later, because that they wanted to keep that revenue coming in. Yes, well, actually, that risk notice I found on several different websites. What I did when I first started investigating myself, I found her on many different websites, this same profile. And there was some slight differences. One would say she was divorced, or one would say she's never married, things like that. So that was never exact, but it was her photos, and all of them said they verified her profile, checked her passport. They all said those things, and I found out later that's true. So they were verified profiles. And that disclaimer notice, where they basically say it's okay for them, you're gonna get scammed here, those are on every website. Every website I checked, they have that notice on there. Absolutely, it's very obvious. Just like with this one specific case, she would go from website to website. You have all these different websites that she exists on for a reason. This is a very beautiful young woman in a very highly populated city who gets to travel all over the world. She doesn't need a website. She doesn't need to be on 6 or 7 different websites trying to meet a man. And she's too busy for that, so she couldn't be speaking to them anyway. So it's very obvious that what's happening is that she's working with this one marriage agency, and this agency is working in affiliation with all these different websites. And so it's just going from one to the other to the other. But it's all owned by the same person or the same group. Yes, this is the risk notice, and it reads word for word on every website that I checked. So this same, sometimes it's on a risk notice, sometimes it's on their policies and procedures, but it's there on each different website, and they all read word for word. Well, I have retained a lawyer, but we have not gotten to the risk notice portion of it yet because it's such a massive amount of information. So we have not reviewed that portion of it yet to find out if it's legal, and there could be different legalities based on the country or the province that in which they're operating. I know that in the United States, based on just a shorthand look at it, that it can't be legal. That scamming is not legal. Because in the risk notice, it's not just saying you may be scammed. They actually lay out how the scam works. So exactly what happened to me, they laid it out word for word, exactly what's going to happen. And it also says they're incentive based because they pay the women and they pay the agency part of the money they get from whatever gentleman they're speaking with. So they're laying out how the scam works. They tell you that they're going to pay them, and they say that you probably will not be speaking to the young lady because they'll have an incentive to just make money from you. So I know that in the United States, based on the wording, that's not something that's allowed, it's illegal, but depending on the state and legalities, we haven't got to that part yet. Well, the private detective laid that out for me, and basically what he explained to me was that you have this marriage agency, and all of these different websites use this pool of marriage agencies. So she'll go to this marriage agency and she gets signed up, and they'll go and they'll do these photo shoots. As a matter of fact, if you go to these dating websites and start looking through those photos, you can probably tell which women belongs to which agency, because look at the background in their photos, and they're all taking the photos in the same place. And so you go take a look at those photos, you'll see that, and they change these photos like every 5 to 6 months. And they'll go and they'll put this lady's profile on 5 or 6 different websites. And the reason why is because that's just more income coming in. So they'll be sitting in a room, and there may be 10 to 15 or 20 people, and the young lady's not there. These are people that they call translators. And most of them are men that you're speaking with. They're called translators, and they are speaking on behalf of this lady. In my situation, I would get suspicious and I would say, send me a selfie. She would always say, I'm naked in the bed, or I need to put on my wake up, I'll give it to you tomorrow. The next day I would have a photo, and it would be her holding up a sheet of paper with my name on it saying hello. But it would never happen in the moment. And the next day you may say, I want a video. I want to see you, I want to hear your voice. A few days later, you get a video from the young lady where she would be saying, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, honey Anthony. I'm waiting for your meeting. Hi, Anthony. I miss you so much.
But it would never happen in the moment. So what would happen is they would have to contact this young lady and say, hey, send us this video. In one particular case, and right before I told her that I wanted to get off the website, I actually wrote them and said, I want proof that this young lady is the one speaking to me. So they had her send me a video of her saying, basically damning herself. My name is Katerina, you see it's me, I'm here, and I'm the one communicating with you on this website. So basically, she was saying how complicit she was with this scam. So she can never say that, hey, I had no idea what was happening, because she sent that video. And they even translated in the bottom in Russian what she was saying.
Джеймс, я реальная. Сижу на сайте Dream Singles. Веду общение сама. Сегодня 8 февраля 2019 года.
So they just go from website to website to website. And are they victims? Are the young ladies victims? In a sense, maybe. But at the same time, they are cognizant of what's happening. And they are fully aware that they are scamming the man that's involved. They are not innocent. A humorous way to say it is if it's an international dating website, it's a scam. That's what I would say. But I would say a couple of ways. First and foremost, what I learned is if they have models on the site, it's a scam. It's not going to happen. They have those models there for one reason. It's eye candy. It's to entice you to get on that site. And the moment that those women start contacting you, we all know beautiful women don't chase men. They're used to being chased. So like in this case, she started writing to me, asking me. And when I went on that website, we all have egos. But I'm not crazy enough to think that every beautiful woman in the world wants to speak to me. I logged in and I had 20 chat requests within the first 5 minutes, and I was getting hundreds a day of people writing me mail saying they wanted to marry me. So one way you can test it is when you first put up your profile, don't put a photo, and put that you're 80 years old, and you will get 50 requests within 5 minutes. You'll know it's a scam. And I tested that after I went ahead, I went to another website and I put no photo, and I put down, because all these websites, the women say they're looking for a man from 18 to 80. That's usually what they put, 18 to 80, or they'll put 25 to 65. So I put 80 years old, and I had, within 5 minutes, they were just pouring in women who were just adoring me, but they had no idea what I look like. I'm 80 years old. So there's real easy ways to tell.
And one small tip that will help you to understand how realistic are your search criteria, because this is in the basis of all the scams, men who have unrealistic search criteria. So to see it, go to the link below. You will see the link to the profiles of real and honest Ukrainian brides. You can send them inquiries if your profile is interesting to them, and you will have replies, and by the replies you will be able to judge if your search is realistic or not. If you make 10 inquiries and you have 10 negative replies, it means you have to change something, otherwise you will be scammed and you have no chance. Well, this is your dream and the reality is absolutely different. So use this free tool. Once again, it's in the description.
No, I don't believe that at all. I think what happens is there's a link that you can go to. The lawyers, the private investigator sent me this link where they recruit these women. So these are women who fit a certain profile, and they actually recruit them. So the average person you see walking around out there is not going to be a scammer, and just as disgusted as we are about this behavior. But these women are recruited. So there's a certain personality type, this atypical personality, who is willing to do this. I know myself, as angry as I am, I couldn't do this to someone. I couldn't sit up there and deceive someone and watch their heart break into pieces and you just keep digging and digging. But some people can, and that's the personality that they're looking for. So the average person out there, that's not what they're like. But the women and the men that they use as translators, that's the kind of person that they are. I think if there's a legitimate dating site, if it's very legitimate, it does open the door. It's a way to get to know a young lady, talk to her, and then when you come down here to the Ukraine or wherever you may go, like I'm in Kiev now, when you come here, you have a starting point. You know a little bit about the young lady, and then it makes it easier. And of course, when you come to Ukraine, if you come here and you don't have that introductory portion of it, like the website, it's a bit more difficult because you have to be in an environment where you meet the young lady. You know, you don't know if they're single, you don't know where they're going to be. So the website platform does make it easier. I think it's an excellent platform for it if you want to meet an international bride or if you're looking to meet someone, period. But it has to be a legitimate dating website, and they're easy to spot now. I can spot it easily now, but most people out there, they wouldn't be able to tell. I think the relationship soon was complicit. The local agency was using this beautiful woman, and she's not the only one. I mean, when you go to Valentine.com, 50% of them are just drop dead gorgeous. You won't believe how beautiful they are. And so they are using these beautiful women. They get their profiles. They're in the absolute best photo they can get for them. They're in makeup. They're in these fantastic settings, and so they put that up. Now, this young lady, she's not blind. She knows what this is for. I spoke to a young lady here who was involved in it, and she's been on these websites for over 5 years. So this is a source of income for them. So you think about, in Kiev, their source of income, they don't make a huge amount of money. So when you can just have your photo taken and then get a phone call once a week and say, hey, send us a selfie, or say hello to Bob on this video, and you can make exactly what you're making at your regular job, so you double your income, that's what's happening. And that's what the relationship was in this particular case. In this particular case, I was able to follow her on Instagram, and I was able to see her lifestyle change. You know, if you take a look at the initial photos in the background of where she was living compared to where she's living now, and now she's talking about how she's traveling all over the world, and now she's getting her new apartment, and she's got a new mortgage. It makes you angry, because you know you were funding that. And I'm sure there were other men involved as well. As the private investigator pointed out, there were other men. She was taking phone calls on schedules, talk to me at 9, this one at 9:30, this one at 10. So, but I just happened to be the one that went too far and spent over $300,000. So she was very aware, they are aware, and they're all complicit in this. I'm not sure the exact split. We've heard different things, but based on what it has is, like, the agency gets a certain percentage, then the translator may get 10% and the girl may get up to 20%. So for every $100 she gets $20, and the person, that translator, may get $10 and the agency gets the rest of it. So I know there's a split of it, and it actually says that in the RIST policy. It says they are splitting the money and that they are paying them to get the money from us. They're paying them, so it's incentive based, and so that's their incentive, and that's the reason why they're so eager to send the photo, and they're just supplementing their income. Well, I will tell you what was really unique for me was that most people, just like me, there's something in the back of their head that says something's not right, but we don't listen to it. And there's some very small things that happen that now I know that they're really good key triggers. One thing is, on the websites, when you buy these gifts are 3 times the normal price. You know, like a $600 iPhone is $2,000, things like that. So I know it was duty and tax, they have these delivery fees, things like this. So what happens is they will make sure that young lady shows you a photo of it. What I learned is you buy them an iPhone, they're not getting an iPhone, they're just keeping the money. So there may be 10 or 15 iPhones they have on the shelf, and when it comes in, they'll hold up a sheet of paper and they'll hold up the iPhone and say, look, I got my new iPhone. But they're not getting that new iPhone. In my particular case, I bought this young lady a ring. When the private detective took a look at the photo, it wasn't really a ring. It was just a band on the top, and it was something, it was like a piece of wire on the bottom of it holding it in place. And you can even see her in the video where she's really struggling to make sure she keeps her hand really closed in tight so you can't see the rest of the ring. So just be really careful. The entire portion of it is a scam. There's no legitimate part to it at all. So be careful of that. And one other thing that will help you is they will never want to do a live video chat or phone call. They won't do a selfie. So just if you think that it's legitimate, demand video chat in the moment. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't let them do it next week. Say, I want a selfie of you right now.
Hello, honey Anthony. I'm waiting for your meeting. Hi, Anthony. I miss you so much.
They won't give it to you. Say, I want a video chat. Just hit video chat. You know, if you've been talking more than a month, what's their phone number? I was with this young lady talking almost a year, and to this day, I can't tell you her address or her phone number. To this day, she has never given me a selfie in the moment. And you know, hindsight is 20/20, but those are some really key factors. Now that I look back on it, I should have been more insistent. But you know, how can someone say they're gonna love you, want to come here and be with you, but they don't want to talk to you on the phone? Why not just pick up the phone and call me? Why not give me your phone number or your address so I can send you an iPhone, or I can come visit you and put it in your hand? And those are the kind of things that I would say to watch out for. First thing I did, like I said, I called a private detective, and he took me to a private detective here in Ukraine, and I wanted to find out exactly how things were working. I'd already contacted the agency, not agency, their website, and they weren't going to do anything. As a matter of fact, they, in my opinion, they helped her scam by her saying she would agree to a meeting. And then I said, well, you know, this lady just stopped communication when I left the site. They said, well, we told her all she had to do was agree to meet you and she would fill her contract. So in my opinion, the website absolutely facilitated her to keep the scam going. And that's just how it continued to work on from there. So there is no other way to put it. They were both complicit in this scam, and the only way to stop it is not to be involved with them. When I got here, I was a little bit anxious. I wanted to make sure that I got the police, the cyber detectives, I wanted all that to happen so quickly. I was very excited, but also it gave me a sense of closure, because you don't want to admit it. No man wants to take that hit to their pride. That's the one thing I think that keeps people from reporting this, is that they're too proud. It hits your ego, and you don't want to admit you're heartbroken, right? You know, people are telling me, how could you fall in love with photos? You know, you never met the woman, you know. So it hits your ego. So that was the hardest step for me, was swallowing that and saying, you know, I'm going to do something about it. And it's embarrassing, but when I got here, I felt a sense of closure that I was taking a huge step to make sure this wasn't going to happen again, because there was no coming back at this point. And so I feel much better now that I took this step. I would say my first part of that, you said, what are my chances? And speaking to the lawyer and the cyber police, the chances are extremely high, because I have a preponderance of evidence. I have lots of evidence. It's clear cut. And I don't have anything that's circumstantial. Everything I have is factual. I have screenshots from the conversations. I have the videos. We have the corresponding evidence from what they did with the cyber detectives, and where she was at one point and where she wasn't. We even have some things from Instagram where she would log into my Instagram account, and you know, Instagram will send you a notification saying someone logged into your account from Kiev, right? So we have all this information. So our chances are extremely good. And my goal is simple. I want them shut down. That may seem like it's a huge task, but the reason why these guys are in existence and they are so successful at it is because people just walk away. They let them get away with it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm here in Kiev for a reason. No matter how much time or the expense is involved, I'm going to keep this one going. They will be brought to justice. Now, whether that justice be jail time or fines or whatever, I'm going to make sure that every avenue is exhausted. So if it's this or that, I'm going to make sure it's both. And I won't stop. The first step for me was the hardest step. That was admitting you've been scammed, right? So step one is to take a good long look in the mirror, swallow your pride and say it happened. Hey, it happened. Stop making excuses for it. I went through 2 months of that, wasted time, and probably spent another $20,000 on that part of it. Just sitting up there looking for a reason for it to be real, just hoping beyond hope. Leaving the website and just sitting there by the computer waiting for that 20 hours to continue a day when it's less than 20 minutes a week now when they won't contact you. So just admit, hey, the scam has happened, okay? And once you do that, you'll get angry and let nature take its course, I would say. Then start doing something about it. If you're gonna be embarrassed by your friends, trust me, they know you were scammed already, okay? They've been telling you. All my friends already knew I was being scammed. So you have nothing to be embarrassed about. All you have left is your dignity and what are you willing to do? And that's I had to ask myself is, what are you willing to do about it? We know what they were willing to do. We know to what extent they are willing to go. So the question is my resolve stronger than theirs? And that's the question we're going to answer in these coming months. Whose resolve is stronger? And I'm pretty sure mine is. When it came to reality, when I got that report from the detective, I was devastated. I would tell you the hardest part for me was waking up every morning knowing that I had another 10 to 12 hours of absolute torture and agony to go through. Okay, so for the last 10 months, 10 to 12 hours a day minimum was spent with this young lady. All your friends have gone. So when you spend 10 to 12 of your waking hours a day, that's your entire life. You've sent her every gift you can think of. And we had named our children. She would say, oh, what are we gonna name our children? Talk about tattoos, where are we gonna live? I had sold my house and we were picking out houses virtually together. So all these memories you have in your head, right, are a fantasy. It's like being in love with Cinderella. This person does not exist. So even though Kaeva is somewhere real in the world, it was just a concoction of all these different multiple personalities that had created this false facade with her as the figurehead. So this woman that you're in love with does not exist. So to wake up to that reality, you're devastated. You don't even want to live, right? So you're in this situation where every day is just dreadful. So I was at a point where I was just in total depression. You don't want to wake up. Life has no meaning. And it's embarrassing, right? You're just in this funk where you just going through the motions every day. And I remember, my routine was getting to the computer, hey, how are you doing? She was there waiting on you. And you go there and she's not there. The website's gone. So the day we left the website, it wasn't, go from 10 hours to 9 to 8. It went from 10 hours to 10 minutes a week, right? It went from I love you, you're the greatest person in the world to, hey, don't you just know I'm busy? Hey, why are you spamming me, right? It went from 1,000 stickers a day to, why are you sending me all these stickers? Don't you know I'm busy? I don't have time to look at all this. And this was overnight. And so it was cruel, it was heartless, and it was devastating. So my emotional state, I was a wreck. The only thing, I know that there's a big part of this is the agency. And the agency sets all this up and they keep it going. My anger was really directed at this one individual because that's the person that was represented. For me, I was looking at this one individual who did this. And what everyone has to realize is not just that one individual. There are faces behind just that one individual that are just as guilty as she is. The people who are actually communicating with you. When I got those communications of the screenshots of how they were communicating, the names they were calling me, how they were laughing at me. That was just, it wasn't her laughing alone. There were several individuals. And this is a byproduct of the entire agency and the culture of the scam with these dating sites. So this one individual agency that happened to me with, there are hundreds of them out there. So we can't just take a look at this and say, we're gonna take a look at this one little incident. I can't be selfish. What I have to do is take a look when I report this and say, be above and beyond what happened to me, we gotta look at this entire culture of scamming that's happening. And it affects, I'm sure it's affecting tourism in Ukraine, you know, it gives the entire country, this one and Russia, a very black eye. So that was very difficult for me because I wanted to attack just this, you know, it was personal to me. But what I've come to realize with the help of you guys and with the help of the lawyer is that, you know, I can't be selfish. It can't just be about me. I've got to make it about the entire community of scams on these dating sites.
And one very important thing at the end, if you have been a victim of a dating scam from a lady from Russia or Ukraine, especially from Ukraine, as we are working now with Ukrainian cyber police who helps us a lot, please email me and I will evaluate your chances. Well, of course, everything we do is for free. We will evaluate your chances, how realistic it is to sue this person, or if it's not realistic, I will just blacklist this person to our website, or we'll inform Ukrainian cyber police. It will be very difficult to this scammer or gold digger to continue her activity, and you will see my email address in the description to the video. And one more time, I will say say the same thing: be realistic while you are searching brides on a dating site. Be realistic when you get replies of girls who are 20-30 years younger than you and who write that they are in love with you, and especially if you have to pay for each message, or especially if you have to pay at the end for her trip to come to your country. And once again, in the description you will see the link to the profiles of real and honest brides. Yeah, have a look how are the real ladies who are looking for international dating. You will see there are no top models. There are beautiful ladies, but beautiful ladies on the website, they will never accept a man who is 30 years older. So have a look and test how realistic are your search criteria, and also subscribe to our channel because we will have much more interviews that will help you to avoid scams and to meet a woman of your life. I wish you good luck and see you very soon. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.